Hi, I'm Chris Croft from Successful Trainers, and I just want to talk to you briefly about this dilemma that I've had for 20 years actually, which is, do we charge people a price per day of training? Or obviously if it's a Zoom hour, do we just charge them a price per hour? Or do we charge them a price per person? And I think the obvious answer to this is that for small groups, you should charge price per day or per Zoom hour because it's still your time, regardless of how many people are on there. Whereas for larger groups, it would make more sense to charge them per person because you could charge a larger amount. So a friend of mine does lots of large group work, and he quite often has, say, 200 people. And he says, well, the price per person is £10 a head, because that's nothing, isn't it? And 200 times 10 is £2,000. And that might be for half a day or even a couple of hours. So he can charge really big numbers because he does it per person. I tend to do whole days rather than shorter talks. And I tend to have smaller groups, just the type of work I seem to have evolved into. So I tend to charge price per day. And then I can say to them, the course will cost £1,400 for the day, and you can have as many people as you like on there. I don't mind if you have a few extra people. And they love that. They feel that that's really nice of me to say have as many as you like. And they don't have to stress about how many people are going to be coming. And they don't have to think, oh, I want 5 more people, but that's going to cost me an extra £100 because Chris is charging 20 quid a head. So they don't feel bad about adding more people. And it makes no difference to me if there are more people, particularly with Zoom, actually, because beyond a certain number, you can't even see the extra people. There's no cost of printed handouts or things that you're giving out. So you might as well have more people. So I quite like to just quote a fixed cost, and it means that I know how much I'm going to be paid. It also means that if people drop out on the day, I don't lose money, because it's really annoying if you agree a price per person and you think there's going to be 50 people and then only 20 turn up and they say, oh yeah, sorry, Chris, yeah, we had a bit of a crisis in the factory and half the people couldn't come to your talk. And that's really annoying. Whereas if you're just doing a total price, you don't care if half the people don't come, that's their problem. And then they'll probably have to have another talk for the other half and get you back in, and that's fine. So I personally have ended up going for price per day. It's nice and simple, and that's what I do. But for larger groups, I think price per person is certainly worth thinking about. Another thought is that you can use price per person as a way to justify your cost. So you can say it's going to cost £2,000, but if you think about it, it's only £10 a head because you've got 200 people there. So it's great value, really. I'm a little bit hesitant about doing that because I think it sounds a bit apologetic. And whether you say it or whether you type it in an email, either way, it just sounds like you feel a little bit ashamed of your price, and you shouldn't. So I just say the price will be £2,000 for this talk, and I just say it because that's how much it is. And I've got other people asking me for talks for that price. I've got a queue of people. My diary's full. So if you don't book me, somebody else will. And that is genuinely where the price comes from. It comes from supply and demand. So when you get to a point where your diary's full, you have to charge more, don't you? And that's where your price evolves into. So I don't think you need to justify it. But sometimes if a customer says, well, that's quite a lot, you could say, well, it's only £10 a head, remember? So you can use it as an arguing point. So you could quote per day, but you could have price per person just as a justification if you need it. And just a final thought about this is the good old negotiating principle of get the other person to open first. So when they say, could you come and do a talk for us on such and such subject? You can say, yeah, it'd be a pleasure. How many people are you going to have? And if they say it's only 7, you could say, okay, well, my price for 3 hours is, or my price for a Zoom hour, or my price for a day is. Whereas if they say we've got 700, you could say, okay, well, my price is £10 a head, so it'll be £7,000. So get them to open first to see whether it's a small or a large number. And particularly when they say, how much will it cost for a particular talk? The first thing you should say is how many people, because although it doesn't really matter to you, it does mean that you can couch the price in the best possible way. So that's some thoughts about how to quote your price. This is one of the many things we cover on my Successful Trainers program. So if you are thinking about getting into training, if you'd like to do it for a living, then phone me and I might be able to help. Because why would you try to do it on your own? You can see there's a huge amount of complexity in this subject, and it's much more difficult to do it without help. If you can get me to help you, that has to be a sensible idea. I've worked all this stuff out over 20 years. So contact me on the link below, successfultrainers.com, and I might be able to help you get started as a trainer. I'll see you in the next video.